Hello and welcome to this talk by the University of Reading. My name's Sally and I'm going to be giving you a little bit of information about moving away from home for university. We'll cover today some of the advantages of moving away from home to go to university, and we'll also be looking at what accommodation is really like. So the first question, should you move away? Well, it is a big decision and many students going to university have never lived away from home before. There is a lot to gain, so I'll talk you through these three things that we've got on the board. So the first one's independence. You will definitely have freedom like you've never had before, and you will be able to do things your own way. This means that you can join whatever clubs you want to, you can get work done whenever it suits you, you can cook meals that you want to eat and buy groceries that you want to have in the cupboards. It also means that you get to meet loads of new people, you can arrange to meet up with them whenever, and you really will get to make your own decisions about how you shape your own life, as there won't be anybody there to tell you what time to get home at or ask you if you want dinner tonight. So it also means that you might make a few of your own mistakes, but remember that moving away is a learning experience. And if you set fire to a piece of toast or put a metal tin in the microwave, it won't be the end of the world. There are some great fire alarms at uni. The second one's life experience. You'll grow as a person and learn things that you wouldn't otherwise have come across. This could be learning things about yourself or about other people. Moving away from where you grew up will mean that you meet new people and you'll have the chance to get to know a whole new community who have had different experiences and different upbringings. This can be a refreshing way to share new ideas, understand other cultures, or reflect on your own experiences of what is normal. You might learn things that you never knew about yourself, both good and bad. And responsibilities. This is for your finances, for your relationships, for cleaning up after yourself, and for your studying. So there's no one that's going to be there to tell you what to do or when to do things at university. So that means if you don't hand an assignment in on time, you won't have to stay after school or college to get this done, and you won't be told off by your teachers or parents. If you don't hand the work in, or if it's not completed to a good enough standard, you'll just fail the assignment. It's as simple as that. And if you keep doing that, you won't pass the year. So the same holds true for things like budgeting with your money or what you choose to eat. No one's going to ask you to sit down for dinner at 7 p.m. every night, but you'll quickly learn that pizza and pot noodles on the go isn't a very satisfying diet. So you'll probably go back home and realise that home cooked meals are to be valued and enjoyed. There's lots of other things to think about when budgeting too. So you might want to think about different ways that you can save money as a student, because that is quite a big responsibility that you'll have when you go and live away from home. But we'll cover those more in a different presentation. So sometimes we hear from students that they're worried to leave their hometown for university. Maybe their university choices are then limited to the universities that are within about 1 hour's drive from their house, or maybe be easily commutable on the train. Now, you can definitely go to a university and that can really work for some people, but it will be a different experience commuting in every day compared to living away from home. There are lots of factors that come into play when making the decision to move away, and these are a few of the concerns that we hear from students who are quite worried about it. So some people worry that they'll miss their friends and family, and mostly we find that students tend to throw themselves into university life when they get here, and after a fully packed welcome week and meeting all of the new people in their halls, they actually very rarely find themselves lonely. There are lots of university clubs and societies to get involved with, and getting to know the new town or city that you're in, and then of course all the time that you'll spend in lectures, seminars and studying for assignments. So we usually find the opposite, that students are actually expecting to feel homesick, but in reality they're so busy with their new lives that they have to go out of their way to remember to call home. Saying that though, it is important to stay in touch. Your parents will want to know that you've settled in okay and that you've made new friends. They'll want to know that the recipe that they gave you worked out all right and that you've worked out how to use the washing machine. And we've all had loads of practice with Zoom calls this year, so there's no reason why that should stop, even when things do go back to normal. And there's things like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. They're all great ways to update your friends and family about what you've been getting up to. Concerns about leaving behind boyfriends or girlfriends, they're quite real as well. But we always try and emphasise that you've got to make the decision that's going to be best for you, not somebody else. So you can always visit them at home at weekends, and they can always come and stay with you at university. There's even shared family accommodation if you wanted to pair up together and go to the same university. Remember, if it's meant to be, then it will last through university. And a significant other that really cared about you wouldn't want you to miss out on an opportunity or be held back from doing something that you really wanted to just because of them. And lastly, people do worry about cooking, and that's okay. It is a learning experience for everyone. We'll cover a couple of options for catering when we look at accommodation at university. So what's accommodation like? When you live away as a student at university, you're likely to apply for a place in halls and move into shared accommodation just designed for students. These are called halls because historically they were large buildings with lots of hallways and rooms coming off that led to bedrooms. So essentially it's just a building with lots of halls in it. Accommodation has come a fairly long way recently, and there's much more of an emphasis on students being comfortable now and living in accommodation that meets their own needs. So that includes things like good heating, double glazing, hot showers, speedy Wi-Fi. They're really comfortable places to live. You won't be sharing a room with anyone. Having a roomie is quite an American college thing, and next to no bedrooms at university in the UK have shared bedrooms. You'll have your own space, and depending on how much you want to pay, you might have your own ensuite in the bedroom, or you could even opt for a double bed. You'll likely find that you share a kitchen with around 6 or 7 other people, and you'll live in the same shared flat as these other students. You do have some say in who you live with, so when you apply to halls, be sure to write down your interests and your hobbies so that you might be paired with like-minded people. They do try to place students where they'll be happy, and they're conscious that someone who relaxes with meditation and yoga might not want to live in the same flat as someone who likes playing electric guitar in a metal band. So living in halls in your first year is a really great way to make new friends. So you'll probably all have your first dinner together after you move in, or chat over a cup of tea when you're moving your belongings in. And they'll be your first friends and the people that you see every day, at your best and at your worst. So it's like a ready-made set of friends. The halls buildings are usually on campus, or maybe just a short walk away from where your lectures are going to be taking place. And that's if you choose to go to a campus university. So if you choose to go to a London university or another city uni, things might be a little bit different. So you might just want to research how the halls work if your situation is a little different like that. At Reading, there's a little student area, which is a bit like a mini village where there's a lot of accommodation. There's a bar, a restaurant, you've got the clothes washing facilities and some green spaces to relax in too. Halls are also a really safe and easy place to live. There's a 24-hour security that will check in on the flats every so often, and you'll get a key to the block that you're in so that only people that live in the building can get in and out. You also won't have to worry about bills or internet packages, as all of that admin stuff is taken care of and included in the rent that is charged to live there. So you can often explore the different university accommodation virtually, especially at the moment on university websites. They may have software that lets you look around different bedrooms so that you can see the storage spaces and realistically visualize where you might like to live. It's a great idea to go on tours of the accommodation, so if you get a chance to visit any universities, make sure that you ask students where they lived and what they liked about the halls that they lived in. You're most likely to have a shared kitchen when you're at university, and that will be whether or not you opt for catered or self-catered halls. So if you choose to be self-catered, that means that you'll be responsible for cooking for yourself all of the time and making sure that you've been shopping to make sure that you have food in for breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. You'll be given a cupboard and some space in the fridge to store all of your bits and pieces. Some people really aren't ready to cook when they move out to university, and you might like to choose to live in accommodation that's catered. This means that you receive some or all of your meals when you're living in halls. And sometimes it's only breakfast and dinner provided, and often you won't be catered for at the weekends, so you'll still need that shared kitchen to boil up some pasta or heat a meal up in the oven for some meals. So you've got to weigh up the cost benefit of these different options for you. If you're self-catered, you get to do your own shopping and choose exactly what you want to eat. You could also pair up with friends and cook together to save some money. You may also be able to shop smartly and save on multi-buys and discounts to save some cash. Catered options might be easier, but you'll be limited to what's on the menu and it can be a bit more expensive. So have a think about what might work best for you. So there'll be different deadlines for different universities, and generally you'll be directed to what you need to fill in once you've confirmed which university is going to be your firm choice. So that's the one that you really want to go to. There will be an online application form, and often you get to choose your top 5 accommodation choices based on how much you want to pay and what facilities that you'd like to have. It's worth doing a little bit of research into the halls that university are offering and not just kind of guess which accommodation will be okay for you. Don't worry too much about being really close to your department building because your lectures and seminars could take place anywhere over the university. You can choose different lengths of stay for the accommodation too. So some people like the security of having their room all year long, while others like to know that they're going to move back for the holidays, and so they're happy to move out all their stuff from their rooms over the vacations. Again, do your research and have a think about what might suit you. So typically, students then like to move out into a shared house in their second and third years. This is usually something like a terraced house that's located in town, a short walk away from the university campus. In Reading, there are roads of student housing where private landlords rent their houses out by the room, and that suits groups of friends who might want to live together. It can be exciting house hunting with your friends at university, but remember to be realistic about your expectations for what you can really afford. Now, this year has been a mad one, and headlines have caused a lot of rumours and social panic, which doesn't help with your decision-making process this year. So please let me reassure you that in normal circumstances, you are absolutely free to come and go when you live at university. You're treated as an adult, and it's up to you to make decisions about where you want to be at the weekends. And you'll probably want to go home for a weekend or two in your first term at university, maybe more. You might want to think about public transport links, and it's unlikely that you'll be able to take a car to university unless there's a real need for it. There are lots of deals that you can take advantage of to save some money too. So look into cheap megabus tickets if you're travelling by train, book tickets in advance, and make sure that you get a 16 to 25 rail card, which means that you'll save at least a third on all rail travel. And that's pretty much it. So it seems like we've covered quite a lot there, but hopefully it's reassured you that moving away for university isn't too scary, and you'll gain a lot of life experience from living away. I'll just point out as well that universities do offer a lot of support for students generally, and at the University of Reading we have invested in a number of student support centres across the campuses that provide students with peace of mind when living away at university. The support centres are your first port of call for all questions, help or advice throughout the time that you're at university, and they can help you with both the academic side of things as well as your welfare and financial needs whilst on the course. So staff will be able to either advise directly themselves or be able to direct students to the right locations. There's also a whole building dedicated to student support at Reading, and that's called the Carrington Building. So here you'll be able to get advice on a whole lot of different things, including immigration, financial support and advice, careers advice, campus jobs, disability support, and counselling and wellbeing. So I'll just leave you with a few useful links that you might like to have a look at. If you are thinking about coming to Reading for your university choice, then you can check out the accommodation on reading.ac.uk/. I wish you the very best of luck with your university journey.